let me ask you, what's a way that you like to anchor into your inner calm?
Oh gosh, so many ways. I love to so I've learned a lot of things from you and the experts that you've had on. I know this is the third annual summit. So like, tapping, number one, is my go-to. Feeling my feelings is another go-to. So I don't try to stop myself from crying if I feel like I need to cry. And again, and it's not to say like, I rage out on someone. That's different. I'm talking about if I'm feeling nervous, then I name it to tame it and then narrate what's happening. And then I'll notice what's around me, like name 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can hear, all those types of things. But tapping is definitely my go-to. And really it's awareness, really, in the past few years through my brain training and stuff, just like awareness of what's happening in your brain really calms things quite quickly, because you can get curious instead of, you say curious instead of furious, curious and instead of judgmental. And so not compounding like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm feeling sad. I shouldn't be feeling sad. And then you shame yourself for feeling sad. There's no need for that. And so really being present and aware is my like preemptive step for calming myself. And then when I'm in the moment, tapping for sure. Whenever I notice like a ramble of negativity or worry or frustration, or I'm a failure of a mom, I start tapping. I had that one last week. So I was tapping on that and crying in the shower.
I love that you shared that you had that moment, because I think it feels good for us to see that even Sarah felt like a failure and was crying. Like even Sarah, who's an amazing mom and she's an amazing educational leader and even you have those moments. So it's okay if I have those moments too. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah,
We're all
it's
human.
funny that we're on this right now, because this came up in my coaching call last night with some clients, and this is the thing, what I mean about getting curious. So it's like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Like, those are the words that came. I feel like a failure of a mom. And often we do this where we say these sweeping judgments of things, or like almost a cliche. Like I've heard that before, right? We've heard people say that I'm a failure of a mom. If we stop for a second, this is what I mean by awareness, and get curious. And we stopped and said like, hold on, what does failure of a mom actually look like? And we took a second to like define it for ourselves. So if I'm saying I'm a failure of a mom, what do I mean? So I was calling myself a failure of a mom because I didn't feel like I was taking my daughter out to the park enough. Like that was in the moment, my definition of failure of a mom. I felt like I was spending a bit more time than I should doing some work when I was shitting on myself, and I should be taking her places. And we've been home so much, and she's totally happy and like hilarious all day long, but like my own story. But if we stop and think, like, does that make a failure of a mom? Like if we stopped for a second and was like, okay, what would I define a failure as a mom? First of all, I don't even know if you can define that, because there are so many nuances and things in there. But like, let's just, for argument's sake, say someone who neglected their kids on purpose, like chose to neglect their kids, yelled and screamed horrible things at them, didn't feed them, didn't love them, didn't care for them, like didn't know where they were at any given time. Like maybe, and even in there are, nuances. Of course, I believe people are doing the best with what they can. But if that's my definition of like an actual failure of a mom, then not taking my daughter to the park enough is nowhere near that. And yet that's what I've been telling myself in my brain. And so that's what I mean by being aware of what's rattling around back there, and really getting curious about and specific about the things you're telling yourself. That really preempts or what's the word I'm looking for? Preempts? Not preempts, prevents a lot of that the like outbursty negative spiral type of stuff, because you can be like, thank you, brain. I appreciate your input. That is not what's happening right now. And we can, like you said, engage. We can cross from the emotional side to the logical side, because we know that when emotions are high, intelligence is low, all of that kind of stuff. I've flipped my lid. So yeah.
Oh, I love everything that you just shared. And I just lost my thought. Sorry. There's a question that came in from Stacy. I have lots of sensory issues and sensitivity to pain if I get poked. Are there others that have issues with tapping? Is there a different way to do tapping if you are sensitive?
So tapping, first of all, it's, if you're poking yourself, then that's not the tapping. And if it's too hard, you don't want to do that. But yes, there are other things, like you can rub, right? You can kind of push a little bit instead of, but tapping really should be light, like you're not slamming your face or slamming yourself. You're just kind of lightly tapping. And so if that is an issue for you, then yes, you can kind of like gently rub a little bit. You don't have to tap, tap, tap. You can, there are lots of other things you can do with the ears, like Laura has shared before. There's brain gym stuff. There's the energetic routine. So the crossover things. But I would explore and because you don't want, the point is not to get you more anxious and set off something. It's really to calm. So if you can play around with like the pressure that feels comfortable for you, then that would be great.
Yeah. And so Stacy said, yeah, even the gentle tapping she can't handle.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, trying the rubbing. This is a good one too, like squeezing beside the nail bed. So I don't know if that would be sensitive to you or not, but those are tapping points as well. And it's not tapping, it's squeezing. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in my 20s, and through doing the neuro coaching work and tapping, which is exactly Sarah's program, the accelerated transformation method, through that, I rarely can say that I have pain. Like, I used to wake up every morning with a fibromyalgia flare up, and every day was difficult. And I believe the tapping has changed that for me. And maybe Sarah, you can explain how tapping can
Yeah,
alleviate pain.
I was gonna also say, Stacy, you may want to look into the emotional code because it's a technique. There's more to it than this, but essentially it's like magnets, running magnets from like your nose down your spine to pull out emotion, because often, especially in those points, because those points are connected to organs in our body and they're meant to move the energy around through your meridians. And if those points are tender, that's indicating something is needing to be addressed. And usually there's an emotional component to it. So you could look into, because that's kind of a non-contact way. There is a book called The Emotion Code. And there are practitioners around, like you can Google that and give that a go and see if that helps to alleviate some of that so that you can tap. Because like Laura said, the tapping actually has like scientific, biological benefits that are measurable now with our equipment. And so it does relieve pain. It does reduce inflammation. It does improve blood pressure. It does reduce stress, like all of those things that contribute to all of our other stuff. It does address those deep things. Excuse me. So if you can get to a place through something, like maybe this is the gateway or the emotion code or something that can get you to a place where you're able to tap, you will, like Laura said, get the benefits from that as well.
They say your issues live in your tissues.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I said it was the neuro coaching along with the tapping, like that emotional work.